Hi, I'm Tim Deuce, psychologist, songwriter, musician. Today, I'm going to talk with you about this issue of law of attraction and trying to do law of attraction when you are seriously up against it and you're surrounded by all this negativity and you are called upon to try to have this positive thing going on. Now, this is tricky. I'll make no excuses about that. And one of the main reasons it is so tricky is that our whole lifelong experience and the examples we've been shown, what we've been taught, what we've been told, is that obsessing over the problem and even maybe feeling guilty about the problem and so on, feeling bad about the problem, is necessary in order to atone for our sins and to find our way out of the problem by taking it very, very seriously and not shirking our responsibilities and so on and so forth. Okay, now, it's tricky for us when we're faced with a whole new way of thinking and a whole new way of acting, which goes against everything that we've been told before. And it might help by coming out with an example here of something that you may have been through before where you had to do that. And that is, if you've ever had to learn how to dive into a swimming pool. Now, if you dive into water, first of all, assuming that the water's deep enough for you to dive, the safest way that you can dive in is absolutely head first. And that's the most difficult thing about learning to dive, because all of your previous experience has been that falling head first is the last thing you should do. You've spent your whole life avoiding hitting your head, avoiding landing on your head when you fall. That's the problem that people have when they learn to dive. It's that previous experience. And it's only at the point when they finally let go of that previous experience and embrace falling headfirst into the water that suddenly it starts to work for them and they stop having painful, agonizing belly flops and actually manage to smoothly cut through the water. Now, this is kind of the same thing. All your previous experience is telling you that you're supposed to dwell on the negative and obsess about it. And it's the feeling is that somehow if you just remain positive and go with the positive, well, you just can't even go there half the time. I'm going to change that today with a 7-step plan that you can go through that's going to help you to be able to change to a new paradigm, a new system, a new routine, a new habit when it comes to dealing with these negative things. And when your emotions are all over the place, number one, the first thing to do is to get your breathing working for you. Now, some people will say to you, oh, well, take a deep breath, or so many deep breaths. Yeah, I would say to you, breathe out. This is really important. You see, there's a reflex. There's a bodily reflex that causes you to breathe in. And what you want to do is to get that reflex working again, to get your breathing naturally. Your breathing's all completely all over the place and very shallow and and it's all very interfered with and it's very unnatural. So you want it to become natural again. And the key to it is breathe out. And if you're breathing out, try to get all the air, every single last bit of air out of your lungs. The more air you can get out of your lungs, the better, until you have to breathe in again. And when that happens, the wonderful thing is that your natural autonomic breathing processes come back into operation. And you find that you're breathing in a natural, I mean, you might be breathing heavily like I'm doing right now, but it's working naturally. The body's natural reflexes are doing the breathing instead of those reflexes being interfered with. So that's step one. We've got the breathing going again. Now, as soon as you do that, then take stock for a minute and just realize that actually if this law of attraction thing works, I assure you that it does, but if it does, then really you have no choice. You've got to try and think of the positive things. You know that expression, glass half full, glass half empty. Two people talking about the same glass. And if you're thinking glass half full, that's a very small change to make. And that way it's so much easier to be able to picture the glass totally full. If you're thinking glass half empty, it's pushing you in the direction of thinking glass empty, which is the place you don't want to go. So that's that first thing, thinking in the positive, taking that glass half full attitude to the situation that you're in. Now, what might sometimes help is just to take a few seconds to rest, if you like, by just noticing that you are still alive. You are still in this world. And if you're still in this world, you're still in the game. If you're still in the game, you can pull it together. Once you're out of the game, that's different. When you're in the game, you can continue to play. Just remember that. Next step is think gratitude. What can you be grateful for? And even if you can't think of the big things, even if it's hard to find things to be grateful for, if you're just grateful for the fact, I'm grateful for the fact that I'm sitting on a chair right now. I've got a chair to sit on, and the fact that I've got the time to sit on it. Even if it's the most silly and almost inconsequential thing like that, think of that. Be grateful for that, because that gets you into that grateful mindset. And as soon as you get the grateful mindset, gratitude is the key to happiness. It's the key to joy. It's the key to contentment. It's the key to success. It's the key to fulfillment. It really, really is. Because frankly, without gratitude, life is bleak and empty. And if you have gratitude, no matter where you are, you will feel joy. So gratitude, definitely get that working for you, and straight away you're going to feel things lift and you are going to feel better. Now we start to visualize on where you want to go. You're thinking about that glass half full, and now you want to picture how it's going to look when it is completely full. And when you're thinking about that thing, what's important is that you don't just think about that thing, but you think of the groovy aspect of that thing. Like, I mean, here's an example. Say you want £1 million. Well, £1 million is pretty boring. You know, it's a check or it's a kind of bunch of crinkly paper. It's not too thrilling in itself. But maybe that little nervous giggle that you might find yourself having at that moment that you received the check. Oh, thank you very much. Or that thrill that you might get because of what it is that you actually want the £1 million for, and the thought of actually having that thing, that's the thing that you want. It's the thing that gets you excited, the thing that gets your juices flowing, the thing that feels almost like a guilty pleasure, the thing that it would perhaps be even quite embarrassing to tell another person about, but is the thing that really thrills you. That's the thing. That is the thing. The thing that perhaps even at times you feel guilty for wanting and really feel that, it's too far, it's too out of reach, it's too much, it's too unreasonable. You know, that is it. That is the one. That is the thing that you need to be focused upon. Seriously, that's really important. Okay, now the last thing, there's a saying, set it and forget it. Well, when we say set it and forget it, okay, what we mean is you have set it, you've set that as your goal, and then concentrate from then on moving generally in the direction of that goal as far as you can tell, which means taking action and simply putting one foot in front of the other. There's that saying, the longest journey begins with one small step. It's absolutely true. And if you're taking one step and another step and another step, well, for a start, you are moving in the direction you need to move. And that in itself is positive and exciting and gets you out of funk. And the other thing is that if you are noting those steps, congratulating yourself on those steps, it's only a tiny little step I made today, but I made it. Okay, here's another little thing I needed to do. I got it done today. I got through it. If you're doing that, then that alone is not just moving you in the right direction, but it's also practicing. You are practicing the habit of thinking about the steps you're taking and not wittering away about the steps you have yet to take. So just by taking those steps, it's more than just moving in the direction of the goal. That is reinforcing this process. It's creating this new habit of thinking. And the more you're doing that, you're reinforcing that habit, the easier it becomes to keep your eyes on the prize. The easier it is to visualize what it is that you want. Because as you know, from law of attraction, from probably all the thousands of other videos that you've watched, that is the way forward. That is the way to manifest. That is the way for that reality, by the way, reality that you have created just by the power of thought. All things exist in the fourth dimension of space. You know, we're locked into a world of 3 dimensions. In the fourth dimension of space, everything exists. With the power of thought, we select what reality we want. And the more we do that, the more that reality enters the 3-dimensional world. It comes to us. So there you go. Those are the steps to go through, even when you're in a funk, even when you're in trouble. And I want to just say this, every single person on the planet has been there, and guess what? We'll all be there again. So if you are right in the middle of it right now, I just want to say, I feel for you, and everybody else feels for you, because we all know what it's like. And we all, as human beings, in the human condition, share that feeling. But this is the way forward. This is the way out. You have all my congratulations and all my recognition and all my support and admiration for you in taking these positive steps. Now, over the coming year, I'm going to be coming out with loads more videos like this, which are all dedicated towards helping you and your life where you're going, because guess what? It's also helping me and my life and where I'm going. And so I want you to do this, please. Subscribe and thumbs up, and please leave a comment below, even if it's just telling us where you're from. And while you're there, if you go to iTunes or you go to Spotify and you check out Tim Duce, D-U-C-E, that's me, you'll be able to see and hear my music there. And every single song and every single tune which is there is again dedicated to making you feel good. So check me out there. I'll see you there.